Coming up on tonight's show, the ongoing Jeffrey Epstein saga has a lot of people thinking about how people in this country who have information seem to wind up dead. I'm going to bring you the top 10 suspicious whistleblower deaths, and trust me, number one is from this year, and it's crazy. Plus, we'll analyze Peter Thiel and whether he should be allowed to run a Pentagon weapons contractor empire, or even just heavy machinery for that matter. Even light machinery, honestly, I wouldn't trust that guy near a pogo stick. You kidding me? All that and more coming up right now. Welcome to Unredacted Tonight. I'm the most censored comedian in America, Lee Camp. Jeffrey Epstein is in the news, like always. Trump would like that not to be the case, which is why he's invaded every country, including the United States. Yeah, just send 18-year-olds with automatic rifles down Main Street. That'll stop everyone from talking about my pedophile friends. Trying to steal Greenland. Tell them that we have proof of aliens. Just adopt a White House chimpanzee. Something's got to work. Anyway, Epstein is just one of at least 10 people around the Epstein case who have wound up dead since the story blew up. Two others include Jean-Luc Brunel, the French fashion designer, who was one of the good friends listed in Epstein's pedo files. Get what I did there? Yeah, it's pretty good. And Brunel was in prison for the of a minor when he found himself hanged to death, just like Epstein. And then, of course, Virginia Giuffre, the Epstein victim, who also brought accusations against Prince Andrew. Shortly after being hit by a bus this year and surviving, she supposedly took her own life, even though she had tweeted that she would not commit suicide. And if it happens, don't believe it. Not a lot of wiggle room there, but the mainstream media totally buys it. Anyway, the ruling elite, the powerful people in our corrupt system, have a long history of making whistleblowers disappear. A lot of them are people who happen to have some very inconvenient information. So let's go through some of the greatest hits. Pun intended. I'm on a roll today, baby. You better buckle up. We do, however, have to put some stipulations on this list because otherwise we'll be here all day. One, I'm sticking essentially to Americans. Number two, I'm not going through the 700 people who knew too much about the Kennedy assassination and then chose to perform at-home DIY surgery with a dull penknife. People have written whole books on that shit. Go read them. I can't do everything for you, okay? So this list is starting after the 1960s. And number three, I'm not going through those whistleblowers who were simply tortured by being locked up for years in prison simply for revealing the dark truths about our system, which includes Julian Assange, Chelsea Manning, Daniel Hale, John Kiriakou, Jeffrey Sterling, Jeremy Hammond, et cetera, too many to list. So with the rules in place, let's get started. And trust me, the last one on this list is going to shock you. First up, you might have noticed Boeing has had some issues recently. Like the planes, they normally go like this, and now they've been doing more of a this thing. And sometimes just the door will just fly off while they're it's a whole thing. Well, luckily, there was a longtime quality manager at Boeing who was willing to tell the truth about what was up and why all their planes were having just a slight case of the shitstorms. But last year, during the week he was giving damning testimony against Boeing, he was found dead in his car, apparently choosing to shoot himself even though he had just traveled to North Carolina from Louisiana to give that testimony. If he was just gonna end it all, wouldn't he have stayed home? Who the sits in traffic on the I-20 for 90 hours eating nothing but soggy McMuffins, having runny shits at a highway off-ramp rest area just so they could say goodbye in a Holiday Inn parking lot? That doesn't make any sense. You might think, but Lee, if Boeing were trying to cover something up, they'd have to also get rid of anyone else telling the truth about it. Funny you should say that. Another Boeing whistleblower died unexpectedly 2 months later. Joshua Dean died from fast-acting MRSA bacteria, aka a staph infection. What are the odds? Two of the main whistleblowers against Boeing in 2 months. How lucky. can Boeing get? God, things are just going well for them. And I'm sure Boeing wouldn't do anything untoward, unscrupulous. I'm sure they're as scrupulous as they come. They're just international weapons dealers, exporting death and destruction around the world for loads of money. Why would classy, upright businessmen who ship bombs to murdered children overseas ever want to do something against the law here in the good old US of A? Number 3 on our list, Gary Webb was an investigative journalist known for his Dark Alliance series, in which he revealed the CIA's connections to the drug trade, collecting millions in profit and then funneling it to the Contras in Nicaragua. He revealed that in 1996, and thus began the destruction of his life, culminating in his suicide with not 1, but 2 gunshots to the head. Sounds rather difficult, doesn't it? But hey, it wasn't easy for Jeffrey Epstein to off himself with a paper t-shirt, but he was a real go-getter, Never say quit, kids. If you have a dream, you have to fight for it. Number 4, Michael Hastings was an investigative journalist who most famously wrote the expose on General Stanley McChrystal that led to his humiliating resignation from the military. So Hastings only had the entire U.S. military despising him. In 2013, he, for some reason, decided to drive his car in Los Angeles at 100 miles per hour at 4 a.m. straight into a lamppost without any signs of trying to stop. At the time of his death, Hastings was investigating another major figure within the Obama administration's military and intelligence apparatus, then CIA Director John Brennan. Hastings had emailed his boss at BuzzFeed a few days prior to say he was on to something big, and if the FBI or CIA showed up to their offices, to not say anything and get lawyers. And you might think, well, that's all well and good, but how is Hastings driving into a lamppost in assassination? Unless the lamppost was in on it, or the CIA had turned his foot into a Manchurian appendage and he couldn't get it off the gas. How's that an assassination? Well, the answer to that question came in 2017 when WikiLeaks published a tranche of leaked CIA documents which revealed that the agency's Center for Cyber Intelligence had been exploring methods to hack into vehicle systems since at least 2014. Doing so would allow them to commit untraceable assassinations. And that was back in 2014. Now, 11 years later, we've just got Tesla self-driving cars just assassinating random people in order to collect a little more test data. The AI is like, yeah, it turns out when I drive into the broad side of a Mack truck at 50 mph, the driver doesn't fare too well. I'll add it to the data set. This experiment is going great. Pretty sure this is how AI sounds. Number 5 and 6 on our list are the strikingly similar deaths of 2 of the people who created SecureDrop, the whistleblower submission system that news organizations use to receive documents while maintaining the anonymity of the source. Because you know what's worse than a whistleblower is people who make it so more whistleblowers can reveal stuff. Oh man, that's horrifying. Like if you're the guys in the penthouse rubbing one out to the pay stubs that show wage theft, that is terrifying. Those 2 awesome humans were Aaron Swartz and James Dolan. They both supposedly hanged themselves in Brooklyn, New York, although it happened 4 years apart. Swartz also helped create the web feed RSS. He was the co-founder of Reddit and the Creative Commons, and he did all this by 27. Makes me look like a idiot sitting on his couch. 27? I'm still trying to figure out how the futon works so I could sleep at night. And at the time of his death, the feds were prosecuting him and threatening him with 35 years in prison for attempting to release academic journals for free online. God forbid people should learn shit for free. Can't have that. The guys in the ivory towers don't want the poor people smart. Again, terrifying. Dumb as shit is great for them. They love that. They don't want a population reading academic journals and watching documentaries. They want a population just sucking up Adam Sandler movies with Dorito powder across their faces. That is perfect. That is key for them. Anyway, either Schwartz was killed or he was pushed to his early end by our shit-for-brains government, who were working very hard to destroy his life simply because he believed in free knowledge. Number 7, journalist Danny Casolaro, who was killed in 1991 after discovering the octopus Inslaw conspiracy. Even his family has long disputed that it was a suicide. Yeah, what are we supposed to believe here? That uncovering giant conspiracies that could ruin the bank accounts of a bunch of powerful people is just so depressing that everyone who does it decides to end themselves. Oh, I can't believe what I've uncovered. I can't go on. I just don't want to live knowing that the CIA trafficked drugs is just too sad. I don't want to wake up tomorrow. Number 8, Karen Silkwood was killed by a mysterious car crash in 1974 after becoming a nuclear safety whistleblower. She was found to have plutonium in her system. And on the day she died in Oklahoma, she was on her way to meet with a New York Times reporter. Did you hear what I said? A car crash in Oklahoma in 1974. There were only 7 cars in Oklahoma in 1974. For 2 of them to collide into each other is bizarre. That's like 2 black people running straight into each other in the Trump White House. There's only one there. How did he hit another one? And number 9, even a former CIA director can't come out unscathed from revealing the truth about the CIA. William Colby cooperated with the 1975 congressional investigation into the CIA, known as the Church Committee. And it seems that someone never forgot. He was attacked by his canoe in 1996. The canoe, however, has always maintained its innocence. And now let's get to number 10, which is both one of the most recent deaths and one of the strangest. Suchir Balaji worked at OpenAI, the creator of ChatGPT. And last year, he blew the whistle on the company, breaking copyright law. In fact, breaking copyright law thousands or maybe millions of. ChatGPT is basically a copyright breaking machine that also has a great recipe for overnight rolled oats with blueberries. It's delicious. I think they stole it from Rachel Ray, but still, you should get on that. 2 months after that New York Times story, Balaji would be found dead. At first, San Francisco authorities said he killed himself with a gunshot to the head in his apartment. But slowly, more info has trickled out. There was blood in multiple rooms, which is quite odd for a gunshot straight to the center of the head. There were signs of a struggle. He had just ordered and eaten takeout food, which again is odd if you're getting ready to end it. And there's hair in the apartment that doesn't belong to anyone. It's not his. They think it came from a wig. I don't know about you, but on my top 10 signs, someone was whacked a list. Pieces of an unknown wig is like right up there with like fingernail claw marks on the door frame and a broken pair of handcuffs on the floor. But it gets even weirder. They found GHB in Balaji's system beyond what might be found in a normal death. According to the Alcohol and Drug Foundation, GHB is a depressant drug, which means it slows down messages traveling between the brain and the body. Basically, it's a roofie used to incapacitate someone. On top of that, almost all of the CCTV cameras in his apartment building had been unplugged or weren't working. That's funny. Almost none of the cameras outside of Epstein's cell were working either. There were 11, and 2 of them were Should we believe these are unnatural deaths and someone cut the cameras? Or should we believe that CCTV cameras are just allergic to traumatic events? They just, all the AI cameras are just like, oh, I can't even watch this. You tell me when it's over. I'm not looking. Balaji's mother says that the murder conspiracy was executed over long-term planning. The killer would have had to study the building, the cameras, and the environment to make this work. Not to mention buy a wig. You know, I wish someone would ask the CEO of OpenAI, Sam Altman, about all this shit, but of course...
Tucker did it.
What?
Tucker Carlson asked him.
Tucker? Dude can't figure out that evolution, racism, or climate change are real, but he's on top of this. Fine. Just play the clip.
Seems really obvious he was murdered. Have you talked to the authorities about it?
I have not talked to the authorities about it.
And his mother claims he was murdered on your orders.
Wow. Well, I'm sure Sam Altman is going to say, "It's insane. What are you, mad?" I mean, that's what you say, right? When you're accused of murder, right? Like seriously, put yourself in that seat right now. Guy says to you, "Did you kill this person?" And how do you respond? You go, "What? No. You asshole." I mean, you could have your own embellishments around the sides, like you could throw in the asshole, you don't have to, but the meat and potatoes is what? No. Let's see if Sam Altman does that.
And his mother claims he was murdered on your orders.
Do you believe that?
I'm asking.
I mean, you just said it, so do you believe that?
You don't want to say no? First, like maybe no. That's not true. Who gives a shit what Tucker Carlson believes about it? He believes slavery was a mutually beneficial agreement between rich white men and friendly black folks. Who cares what Tucker thinks? I want to know what Sam Altman thinks. Well, I'm sure that was a momentary lapse, and in his next response, he's going to say, "I didn't have a former employee whacked. What are you, out of your mind?"
You feel that, when people look at that and they're like, it's possible that happened. Do you feel that that reflects the worries they have about what's happening here? Like people are afraid that this is like...
I haven't done too many interviews where I've been accused of like...
Oh, I'm not accusing you at all. I'm just saying...
I haven't done many interviews like this. So basically, you haven't had time to rehearse a good word salad answer here. You still haven't said you didn't do it. When you're confronted with something this crazy, wouldn't that be your first response? "Excuse me, sir, did you have sex with that donkey?" Well, I'd like to answer that question with a question. Do you feel I did? I don't know. That's why I'm asking. Did you make sweet love to that donkey? Well, let me respond by saying I haven't done many interviews like this. Okay. Let's move on then. Anyway, that's your list of the top 10 whistleblower killings in America starting after the 900 people who knew something about the JFK assassination. And you'll also notice that none of the perpetrators have been found or prosecuted. In most cases, the authorities barely even care to look for anyone. Could it be that the police know when an investigation is beyond their pay grade, so to speak? Yeah, looks like a suicide to me, sir, and I'd like to keep my pension, so open shut case. What's that? Oh, 3 gunshot wounds to the head. That's right. Yeah, my son is headed to Ivy League, and my dog has medical bills. Yeah, turns out dog can get arthritis. Don't know if you knew that. So, yeah, I'd like to, I'm about to say this is suicide, all done here. Horrible suicide. Tragic. So that's the list. If you can think of some I left out, please put them in the comment section. And now, please welcome to the show, Peter Thiel. I assume everyone knows by now that Peter Thiel is a billionaire maniac who owns a large segment of our society and our culture. He's the co-founder and chairman of Palantir, which has become a massive military contractor, creating the software that controls fucking everything and helps Israel kill children. He's also the creator and funder of J.D. Vance, and he increasingly has massive financial influence over seemingly independent online commentators like Russell Brand and Eric Weinstein. I give all of that background to say what Peter Thiel wants the world to look like has a big impact. So let's see what he says.
I think you would prefer the human race to endure, right?
Ah, Jesus, could you get a little easier with the questions? Do you think humans should be alive? Good God, I've never seen a softball question softballier than that. Why don't you ask him whether he likes oxygen? Yeah? See where he stands on that? Do you like breathing in and out, Peter?
I think you would prefer the human race to endure, right? You're hesitating.
Yeah, well,
yes?
I don't know. I would.
This is a long hesitation. This is a long hesitation.
Yeah, it is, dude. How did you just whiff the easiest pitch in history? That was the hesitation of a man who just finished axe murdering 30 people and he's cuffed in the back of a police cruiser. And they're like, why'd you do it? Don't you want the human race to survive? And he's like, well, define survive. That was crazy. Every interview I see with Peter Thiel, it's like he's challenging all of us to finally realize he needs to be locked up in a padded room in a straight jacket with the comically large Houdini metal chains wrapped all around him and a beekeeper hat over his head. Why does he keep doing these interviews? Because if it's for brand awareness, I think we all get it. You're a psychopath. We know. We got the message. You told us. You can stop with the book tour now. It's just getting scary. But believe it or not, somehow his answer gets even weirder.
This is a long hesitation. This is a long hesitation.
There's so many questions implicit
in this.
Should the
human race survive?
Yes.
Okay.
But I also would I also would like us to radically solve these problems.
Right.
And so, it's always, I don't know, transhumanism is this, the ideal was this radical transformation where your human natural body gets transformed into an immortal body. And there's a critique of, let's say, the trans people in a sexual context, or a transvestite is someone who changes their clothes and cross-dresses. And a transsexual is someone where you change your, penis into a vagina. And we can then debate how well those surgeries work. But we want more transformation than that. The critique is not that it's weird and unnatural. It's so pathetically little. It's so pathetically little. And okay, we want more than cross-dressing or changing your sex organs. We want you to be able to change your heart and change your mind and change your whole body. And then Orthodox Christianity, by the way, the critique Orthodox Christianity has of this is these things don't go far enough. Like that transhumanism is just changing your body, but you also need to transform your soul and you need to transform your whole self.
The question, if you'll recall, was, do you want humanity to survive? I'm going to take that as a no. If you run a Pentagon contractor company and you're asked if humans should be on the planet anymore, and at any point during the answer, you find yourself saying penis and vagina or transform your soul, then you done up, okay? You should not be in control of that company ever again. You shouldn't be in control of a tricycle. Honestly, what is wrong with our culture? Maniacs like this can not only walk the streets, but run things. And meanwhile, we're arresting the guy who screws bolts on at the Hyundai plant. Yeah, him we got locked up. Him we're concerned about. The cyborg billionaire with lizard skin who says he wants to turn your soul into a botched AI surgery. That's fine. Sure, leave him be. He's not going to hurt anyone. Let's see how it plays out. And here are your headlines from the future. Big news coming up in November. We'll find out when ordering from Walmart online, customers now given the option to throw in a little extra to contribute to deforestation efforts. Finally, easy way to help get rid of forests. And coming up in 10 days, we'll learn Melania spotted scrubbing her elbow until it bleeds after accidentally rubbing it against Donald Trump. She really needs some steel wool. Honestly, that's what you gotta get in there with. And in local news, this coming Monday, squirrely-eyed guy at Rite Aid clearly stealing empty shelves. I mean, Rite Aid does have some of the best empty shelves, so I get it. And lastly, on October 1st, some earth-shattering news. President Trump signs executive order forcing all active duty service members to have mutton chops. And I think we have a photo of that. Yeah, there it is. That's the first executive order I've agreed with. That's the show. But before you go, I want to give you a free month with my Locals community. Locals is like Patreon mixed with Facebook, but it's better. And you can try it out for free. Just go to leecamp.net, which will take you to my Locals. Scroll down to become a supporter. And then when you're going to check out, it will say $6 a month, but if you use promo code LeeCampFree, all caps, one word, you'll get a month for free. You'll also get my newest ebook for free as well. So just go to LeeCamp.net, use promo code LeeCampFree, all caps, one word. Thanks for the support. I'll see you next Thursday. The revolution will have laughter. Keep fighting.